Hi everyone, my name is Ari, and I currently write for the blog Navigatethestream, and I am Thursday's submission for Project Muslimah. And the subject is injustice that you've experienced or witnessed. Considering that I've only been a Muslim for about a week, outside of the usual airport security plunder, there hasn't been much that I witnessed. But as I was coming home today on the bus, I started to meditate on what I have witnessed before becoming a Muslim. And a lot of the injustice that I have witnessed or experienced happened while I was abroad this summer in Israel. To give a little background, I am a Jewish studies major who is an undergraduate at Hampshire College. And I primarily focus on Eastern European Jewry with respect to how Eastern European Jews utilize certain mediums in order to tell their own stories. And I decided to go to Israel to learn Hebrew because I really love the language and it's something I've always wanted to do. And I guess I only had a vague understanding of what goes on in Israel with respect to racialized politics. I read a lot on Tumblr and I own a lot of books about the Israel-Palestine conflict. However, a lot of those books do not discuss what happens when African Americans and African diasporic people who are not Ethiopian Jews, who are not Sephardic Jews, attempt to have a relationship with Israel. And some of the most traumatic experiences I have had in relation to Muslimness or Muslim identity is being mistaken for a Muslim while in the state of Israel. When I got off the plane, I had my hair wrapped because that's a common thing that African American women do. I get pulled to the side and I sit in this box for 20 minutes across a Muslim woman and her daughter who are also on the same flight as me, trying to get into the country. And because I had no proof that I was going to study at the University of Haifa on my person, they had to sit there and do a background check on me. When I was coming back to Chicago, I got to the airport 2 hours early and I stood in security for 2 hours and I was this close to missing my flight because I had to stand in the line for non-Jewish people who don't have dual citizenship in Israel and America, or Israel or wherever their respective country is. And I just remember both times shaking to my core with anger and sadness, not because I was being mistaken for like a Muslim and that, being mistaken for a Muslim is this horrific thing in my mind, but the equation of being mistaken for a Muslim and how I was subsequently treated is what really screwed with my world. On top of that, I also had the misfortune of being in the same Ulpan with a lot of very Islamophobic and Arab-phobic Americans who would openly say very ignorant things while in public, while on the bus, and not really thinking about the fact that, Haifa, Israel, is considered the 333 city for a reason. It's because it's a third Muslim, a third Christian, a third Jewish, and guess what? Those Arabs and those Muslims that you don't like so much that you talk about in your drunken rants can also speak English and understand what you're saying. And I hesitate to talk about those experiences not only because of the precarious position that I'm in as a Jewish studies major who converted, but because I do not want my relationship with Israel to be solely based on the horrific experience I had with some Islamophobic students and with Ben Gurion Airport. I want it to be more than that, but at the same time, I also recognize that I am a suspect in no uncertain terms by their standards for merely having brown skin, and now for having a visible profession of faith, which is associated with a level of uncertainty. So I guess my struggle in the future as a Muslim Jewish studies major who has no intention of changing their major anytime soon is to navigate the tension between my identity and my right to profess my identities and the spaces that I come in contact with as a function of my studies that may be hostile towards me, that may have certain preconceived notions of my existence before giving me the opportunity to be an individual. And I'm hoping in the future that when I do engage with Israel, when I even engage with people who are pro-Israel that I study with and sometimes work with, that they are capable of keeping an open mind and keeping an open heart. So that is my experience with injustice and what I have witnessed. If you want to know more, you can just read my blog from July and August 2011. So I hope that answers and fulfills the Project Muslimah topic of the week. Bye.